Algae have been in the news quite a bit lately, particularly this one. This is Desmodesmus. That's a splitter from Desmodesmus, so you might hear that name as well. And this, apparently, is its happy place. This is the Lincoln Memorial, and this is the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. You'll see that it is a lovely Kelly green. The intent was for it to be blue. When an alga undergoes rapid growth and becomes noticeable in the water, we call that an algal bloom. So that's what's going on here. By the way, this sample was brought to me by a colleague, Jenny, from Puerto Rico. Desmodesmus and other members of the Desmodesmaceae are common freshwater algae, and these are organisms that are potentially capable of very rapid growth, actually the most rapid growth we've measured in the lab. It's also highly variable in morphology, which can make it difficult to identify, so I haven't tried too hard to identify this one. But most of the cells that you see here are very likely from a single strain of Desmodesmus. There are also cyanobacteria, not a lot of them, but there are cyanobacteria present, some diatoms, a handful of chrysophytes, and there are ciliates and other herbivorous protists that are eating the Desmodesmus. But it is pretty much a monoculture of Desmodesmus. So the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool is having a bloom of Desmodesmus. This is a normal part of ecological succession. Left alone, the algae would have grown, turned the water green, and then settled to the bottom. When this happens, they take their nutrients to the bottom with them. After that, other algae with different nutritional needs would have taken over. And over time, nutrients get depleted and won't support as much algal growth, so the water clears up. But the reflecting pool is an unusual environment. It's very shallow, with little or no flow through it, and that means it's warm. It can be filled with water in various ways, but mostly the water is recirculated and filtered. And because of this recirculation, if you don't do something to remove nutrients, they'll tend to accumulate. That's part of what the filtration is intended to do. So, in addition to filtration, to address the bloom of Desmodesmus, the folks managing the reflecting pool have been bubbling in ozone, pouring in peroxide, and vacuuming up the algae. And this is working. Now, green algae have pretty good peroxidases, so they aren't highly sensitive to the ozone treatment, but you do see that a number of the cells are stressed. There are some that are dead, although there are also plenty of cells that still look perfectly healthy and ready to grow. I also noticed what appeared to be some bleaching of the pool liner from the peroxide, so that's an unfortunate side effect of the treatment. But more importantly, removing the Desmodesmus is a Sisyphean task. When the cells die, they release their nutrients back into the water, and that will fertilize the remaining algae and interrupt the ecological succession. Now, as the workers vacuum the debris, they're removing it from the reflecting pool, and that will help remove some of the nutrients from the water. But they're replacing that water, presumably with the same water they originally used, which is nutrient-rich. And that suggests that they may be setting up a kind of a continuous culture system, what we'd call in the lab a chemostat, adding fresh nutrients and keeping the Desmodesmus in log phase growth. So if they aren't careful, rather than ecological succession, they're going to be in a doom loop of Desmodesmus growth. Maybe this will all be successful and we'll soon have a nice, clear, blue reflecting pool. But maybe this is the time to rethink the entire setup. I suspect that a better approach would be to bring in a steady supply of water from the Potomac, filter it, and then flow it along the reflecting pool, fast enough for frequent exchange of water, but slow enough to avoid distracting ripples or currents. That would keep the water from getting quite so warm, and replacing the water regularly would prevent any one alga from taking over. You could even add a few water lilies and other low-statured aquatic plants that would provide some structure and would allow the pool to be stocked with fish. Plus, they would add visual references that would emphasize the majestic scale of the pool. Now, this would tend to act like a huge turf scrubber, so from time to time it would be necessary to remove biomass from the pool, but it would look attractive, the water would be clear, and it would create a cleaner, calmer environment. If you go next door to Constitution Gardens, the pond, which was just cleaned and repaired last year, does look a little green itself, suggesting that it would probably benefit from a flow-through system as well. But it shows that a water feature can be both formal and naturalistic, and that approach can work in the context of DC.
I've been floating down the old green river on the good ship, rock and ride. But I floated too far, I got stuck on a bar. I was out there alone, wishing that I was home. The ship got wrecked with the captain and crew, and there was only one thing left to do. So I had to drink the whole green river dry to get back home to you. Danny's brow raised a row, said I'll go home to mother now. Danny said that's some idea, better than bringing mother here. At the door, there she saw her pa and ma and several more. Dad was explaining when he came in, telling ma where he had been. I've been floating down the old green river on the good ship, rock and ride. But I floated too far, I got stuck on a bar. I was out there alone, wishing that I was home. The ship got wrecked with the captain and crew, and there was only one thing left to do. So I had to drink the whole green river dry to get back home to you. I've been floating down the whole green river on the good ship, rock and ride. But I floated too far, I got stuck on a bar. I was out there alone, wishing that I was home. The ship got wrecked with the captain and crew, and there was only one thing left to do. So I had to drink the